Well, this should come as a surprise to nobody. Who knew the 3,000 gallon full of big cichlids would grow peace lilies like no tomorrow? Oh my god, that is so thick in there. It's like those 4 plants or 6 plants are just grown into a giant bush. Oh my gosh. Man, time flies so fast. Week 3 of the Fish Basement Annex build is in the books. You're going to see the progress, and we're going to talk a little bit about, we know I need more tanks, but we're going to talk about why I need more tanks, and we're going to show what's going to happen when I build these new tanks and how that's going to affect other parts of the fish basement and how it's going to open up a whole bunch of new builds as some fish go from big to bigger to biggest aquariums, and everybody gets an upgrade, and then of course that's going to leave some open tanks. All right, let's check it out. Okay, welcome to the 3rd week of construction. It's actually Tuesday, so we're going to see Monday and Tuesday's progress. It was supposed to stop raining days ago, but it hasn't, so we've been doing nothing outside and a lot inside. So as you can see, the door, we got the hardware. Let's step inside. I think one of the first things you might notice, other than the echo, is we have light. Finally, we have the lights, all the electrical, the new breakers are in, everything is good on the panel. We have the electrical outlets in, so yeah, we are electrified, which is a big deal for a fish room. So yeah, so what do we do? Monday we largely finished all the drywall, hanging all the drywall, I should say, and gave the electrical done, and then today we started with taping and mudding and another run to get materials, and I believe it's the last run actually, so the last set of materials, which is all the siding and flashing and everything for the outside of the room. So yeah, it is starting to look like a real room. If I back up here into the corner, we can see that it is coming together. So what's next? Well, obviously more mudding and taping, and then this is the 3rd day in a row they say it's gonna stop raining. So if it does stop raining, we have the siding now, we have the flashing, so it's time to get the outside buttoned up. And yeah, so we got mudding, taping, mudding, sanding, and working on the outside. I think that's what's next. All right, it's coming along. So kind of showing a reason why the Annex is necessary and why the denizens of Predator Bay are needing a bigger home. That's a pretty good reason right there, just swam by. And this guy down here digging in the rocks, even though he's pushing 4 feet in length. So everyone here has gotten big. You know, all those cute little sharks when they were 18 inches long, well now they're 38, 42 inches long, all that good stuff. And you can see they knock everything down now. Even though this aquarium is 13 and a half feet long, 6 feet front to back, and 3 feet tall, these guys just don't stop growing. And I think there's a misnomer that, yes, they're a benthic shark, and they do spend a lot of time loafing around during the day, but they do that during the day when I'm working and before the lights come on. But then, for 8 hours, they do this. They swim around everywhere. They're very active. Everybody is. This is not a feeding night. This is just their normal routine. So from around, I don't know, starting probably around 6 or 7 p.m. I turn the lights on with these guys at 4 p.m. Let's say around 6 p.m. you get some activity. But then, from about 8 to midnight, it's like this. They're just everywhere, They're all about. And sometimes they must be doing stuff in the middle of the night as well, because I often come down to find that they have re-aquascaped the aquarium. So this is part of the reason the Annex needs to be built. So these guys need a bigger home. So their essentially 2,000 gallon, 1,800 gallon home is going to be upgraded to a 3,000 gallon in-wall aquarium over there. So they're going to be taking over the Amazonian aquarium. And the rule here at Aquarium Domain, if I'm kicking the Amazon cichlids out of the 3,000, that means they're going somewhere bigger. So nobody gets the shaft here in the Aquarium Domain fish basement. So these guys are going to get a bigger home where hopefully I can create an aquascape that's size for Jumbo over here. And also it'll allow us to do some other fish that I wouldn't feel comfortable putting in here. Even at 1,800 gallons, once the fish get full size and you start seeing them swim around, for them to be comfortable, they need a lot of space. And you know, 1,800 gallons goes quick when you get a couple 4-foot sharks swimming around. And like I said, even though they're benthic sharks, they're active. You know, they're doing this 8 hours. I mean, 6 to midnight they're doing this, and then anytime I turn a light on in the middle of the night, they're out and around too. So they might very well spend half the day active, even though they'll spend the whole day just sleeping in the cave. So point being is that this is, you know, part of the reason I want to have the Annex, and part of the reason is there's just other tanks that I want to do that I don't have room for. So, you know, I'll take any excuse I can get to get some more fish tanks. So at any rate, these guys will be going to the 3,000 gallon. The boys in the 3,000 gallon over there will be going out into the Annex, into a bigger than 3,000 gallon aquarium. And the lucky beneficiary of all this is the fish in the reef slope. So everyone in the reef slope is going to be moving into here. So this is going to be, so instead of a 600 gallon, they're going to an 1,800 gallon. So they're getting a 3x upgrade on their aquarium. So they'll be loving life. But there's some big angels and big tangs in there. And they look great in the 600 now, but in time they might start to look too big. So we're going to nip that in the bud right away and get them in a new, bigger home. All right, it is week 3, Thursday. So this is going to be progress from Wednesday and Thursday combined. Yesterday, by the time I was done working my, working and then coming here and working on this, I was just beat. And I fell asleep after working on this. So film it all tonight. So starting on the outside, as you can see, we've started finishing the outside of the room. So that is big progress. There's a little bit done on the side over here. Not a whole lot. We just started putting the planks on down there. But, you know, it's going to look like more like this all the way wrapped around. And, of course, all the way into the existing part of the house all finished. And then if we jump inside, all right, more mudding. Just, I don't know how much it comes across on camera, but it's, you know, a third layer of mudding. Everything's nice and smooth. A lot of sanding, a lot of mudding. Just getting those seams to all disappear so that when we go to paint, it looks perfect. You got to put the prep work in ahead of time, you know, underneath to get the good finished look. So even though hopefully anyone coming in here is staring at some giant aquariums pretty soon, but now's the time to do the work right, get the walls right before we move on to the next stage, building aquariums. So that's it. Yesterday, Wednesday and Thursday, the third week, just mudding, sanding, and working on the outside. And it looks like there's not supposed to be any rain coming anytime soon now. At least we got a few days anyway, so hopefully we'll get the outside knocked out pretty quick. So since we're going to be building all these new big tanks in the Annex, we know we're going to be moving a lot of fish around, and tonight we're going to talk about how we're moving the marine fish, how Predator Bay is getting an upgrade, and how the reef slope's getting an upgrade. And we'll cover how we feed these guys. So what I do for the non-Predator Bay fish, marine fish, is get a whole bunch of different types of foods. I break them all out. I mix them in with some Formula 1 and Formula 2 flakes and a little bit of jumbo krill. I'll show you that in a minute. And yep, we got a big chunk of squid there thawing out for the boys over in Predator Bay. So what I do for the reef slope is I put a little bit of water in the cup, and I take a mix of Formula 1 and Formula 2. I go ahead and just mix it up into one container, and that's kind of their base food. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to add one of each one of these packs into there. So what you end up with is a big mix of foods, including meaty foods and vegetable matter foods, frozen foods, flake food, and sometimes some freeze dry, but not every night on that, just a couple times a week. Let's go see if the fish like it. Yeah, I'd say they seem to be pretty into it. Nice thing about a big explosion of food like that is it goes everywhere, especially once it hits the power heads up there, and that gives everybody plenty of opportunity. The shy feeders, the boisterous feeders, and then the big boys like the angels, they'll go up there and grab an entire cube and break it apart for everybody else. But helps separate the super aggressive feeders from the sort of middle of the road feeders, and everybody gets some. You can see you've got sort of the chaos over here with the big boys, but then over on the opposite side of the tank, you got the little guys. They're getting plenty of food, no problems, no having to compete with the big boys. Even the trigger, you know, he's going everywhere, checking it all out, getting a little from a little from every side. And of course, as always, one of the biggest things is spend time with your fish tank. When you see fish that are healthy and happy, they'll be the right color. They'll have big, thick stomachs, not overweight, but no sunken stomachs. They'll be nice and plump, and they will have very good coloration, and they will act very lively. And that's how you know. That's one of the ways you know that they're getting a balanced diet and that their environment is of good quality, the water quality and the food they're eating. For anybody who's worried about seeing all this construction and you don't see a supervisor, well, my assistant is on the job. I just want to say that she's a fully qualified cat inspector, and she really does take her work seriously. She puts the nose to the grind, and she fully inspects everything. And when you think she's given up, no, she keeps looking for more issues. She wants to make sure that this is the highest quality work, whether it be inspecting the materials before they're used, or simply checking the full perimeter of the fish basement annex, making sure that no matter where we put aquariums, the location will be perfect and well suited for massive DIY builds. And, you know, she's willing to put in the overtime. When some people would just leave and call it a day, she's back at it. She's digging deeper, looking for any kind of possible problems ahead of time so we don't make any mistakes building the fish basement annex. Because, you know, we want this to be successful, and I feel confident that after a full inspection, she's good with everything we've done. Not only are the big boys in Predator Bay getting an upgrade, but the trickle-down effect means that these will be the new inhabitants of what used to be Predator Bay, but now is going to be, well, I'm going to hold off on the name until we get the tank debuted, but let's just say I think these big angels and tangs are definitely going to appreciate moving from 600 gallons to 1,800 gallons. They are definitely going to be stretching some fins over there. That's a good thing too, because French angels get quite big, queen angels get quite big, so, and there's a lot of tangs in here that get quite big as well. So I think they're all going to appreciate their new home. They're all going to appreciate their new home, and it's going to give me the ability to add some other fish. So it's going to be one heck of a reef in there, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Okay, it's Friday on week 3, and on the inside, we mostly have just been doing more mudding. You can see of the 5 buckets, 1.5 have been used up. That one on top is probably more than half used. And I have 2 more to go. So I'm going to be more coats of mud and sanding coming up. But the inside it's getting buttoned up pretty good, but doesn't look like much on camera, I'm sure, because it's just a lot of mudding. But there's been good stuff happening on the outside. Let's take a look. Okay, so you saw on the outside how we've finished up the first wall of the building. Well, we've started working around now to the side. Okay, so we brought the trim and the siding, everything onto the long side of the building, and we've also got the soffit in place all the way down. And yeah, this is, the entire side is done. So fight with some late day sun here, but the whole side is done, and we just have the back side, the last side to go. So this is where we'll start off on Monday of next week. It's getting the flashing, the siding, and the trim done here, and then we'll be working on sanding the inside, getting the storm doors installed. Let me pop back inside. So next week we'll start by finishing the outside work, then we'll come back in and we will be working on the trim around the windows, and the doors, and installing the storm doors, and completely finishing the walls, having those ready to go for paint. And then, as you know, I'll be painting the brick with a masonry paint, and then of course the ceiling and the walls and all that good stuff. The poles here in the middle, I can sand them and paint them, but they may be incorporated inside of some of the aquariums, so we may not worry about it. I might frame around them. They may end up being part of the aquarium. They got the electricity right there in the ceiling, So I might be running wires right down and then to an aquarium right here. So if it works out that way, I won't do it. Otherwise, I will, you know, sand them and paint them up if they're going to be exposed. And the ground as well, the concrete is going to be painted or stained, like a solid stain probably. We'll see. But at any rate, there's going to be a lot of painting going on inside and out. So that'll be coming up probably not next week, but the week after. So yeah, this is the end of 3 weeks. Room's coming along pretty good, pretty quick. Yeah, so next week we start on the outside and completely button up the inside. There we go. We'll just dump the big mess in there, and it shouldn't be long before the sharks are onto it. Looks like a Ray's the first taker, but won't be long. Yep, there goes the bamboos, and they'll hoover it up. And the other guy's getting it from the other side with a little help from the horn shark and coral cat shark. He smells it. It's taking his time though. He must have grabbed some on the other side when I wasn't looking. Yeah, it looks like he's still hungry. Still grabbing pieces. He's actually finally thickening up. Took a long time for him, but looks awesome with getting a little bit of thickness to him. The bamboos, on the other hand, they thickened up real quick. Yeah, the horn shark, he's just kind of slow and steady. Keeps growing, same thickness, just sort of always, his thickness and his length are always in proportion. Never stretches out, never thickens up. It just kind of slowly grows. Alright, they look good to go. I never get tired of watching my little koi hippos swim around. Well, I guess it probably goes without saying there's a lot going on in the fish basement these days, so check back soon, because I guarantee you there's a lot of progress happening and a lot of mega DIY builds on the horizon. So subscribe, do all that stuff, and I'll see you guys very soon.